Thank you for joining us tonight on another Dale Hollow Lake podcast where we give you the down low on all things Dale Hollow. Tonight we have Denny from Dale Hollow Marina and Cedar Hill Marina, along with three of the lake's most popular fishing guides. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Hey JB, can you go ahead and start us out and tell us what marinas you work out of?
Well, I work out of just about all of them. I do Sunset and Star Point and Eagles Cove, and uh, also I pick some up at your place, and and I do all of the Kentucky docks over there. I pick people up at all of those, and even pick some up down on the lower end of the lake. I've run around, been doing this for about 32 years, and I've been at every dock on the lake.
Well, I know that you catch fish. I see the pictures all the time. So when somebody shows up, I mean, what can they expect from you? I mean, how many people can fit on the boat maybe, or do you provide all the gear, or what do you do?
Yeah, I provide all the gear for people, and I pick normally take two people. I've got a nitro boat, a Z20 Pro, and I take two people, and I furnish whatever they need to fish with.
Okay, so what does a normal day look like? Do you do half day, full day?
I normally do full days, and my days start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I quit at 4 in the afternoon.
Okay. So what kind of costs would people be looking at?
Um, $300 for two people.
Okay. And is there a certain species of fish that you target, or?
Smallmouth and largemouth, and I prefer to fish for the smallmouth most of the time.
That's what everybody seems to want to catch down here, huh?
Yes. Normally the people you get, they just want to catch a smallmouth fish, and a lot of people has never caught a smallmouth, and they're just tickled to death to catch one.
So you got a secret you want to give us? Like what is the go-to bait on your boat?
Well, different. That's different seasons, different baits. I like to fish a jerk bait in the springtime, but I want the water temperature to be, in 50, 51, 52 degrees. Uh, I have caught them when it was 48 degrees, but it's a lot better if it's 51, 52, 53, that neighborhood. And a swim bait and an A rig most of the time in March and early April. And then when you get into April and they get on the bed and stuff, we throw finesse bait a lot, a swim bait, and baits like that you would slow down fish a spinning reel with and catch them on uh, finesse worm or something like that, or a small spinner bait, a small swim bait. Fall of the year, top water a lot of times in late September and October for the smallmouth, and a swim bait.
So how many days do you think you fish a year?
Uh, I fish probably with what tournaments I fish and everything. I probably fish 125 to 150 days.
That's pretty busy. I know Denny would like to fish at least that many, right, Denny?
I would love to. Like to fish half that many.
All right. So anything else you want to tell us about?
Well, I just purchased a new boat, and I do quite a bit of tournament fishing. I still enjoy doing that, and the thing about it is I enjoy taking people fishing. I enjoy seeing somebody catch a fish, and over the years, the Lord's blessed me, and I've been able to do something that I like to do and make part of a living with it, and so He's blessed me. I'm 73-year-old right now and still feel 60.
You know, it's amazing how much we take our lake for granted, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Living here, people come down, they visit us, and they're just amazed that we get to live here. And,
Yep.
but I mean, every day, it kind of, you really need to stop and take a look around because it is a special place, that's for sure. So,
Well, the thing about it is, the guide business has been really good to me. I've met a lot of people, made a lot of friends. I have a lot of return customers that come back year after year, and they call me and talk to me. If it's not about fishing, they call me and tell me their family problems and things like that. And you know, it's just been good to me, and I've enjoyed it, and I enjoy fishing also.
well, good deal. So, how about you, Greg?
I fish out of Horse Creek Marina. I've been guiding about 15 years now. I don't do it full time. I do it part time. I still work a full time job, but I still am able to fish 100 to 110 days a year. I have a real flexible schedule. I can take clients out on the weekend or during the week. My big deal is night fishing. That's my favorite time of year, and I have a lot of success at night. I do fish year round. I do fish in the wintertime, but I start fishing at night in April, and I don't quit till the 1st of November. Catch a lot of big fish at night in September and October. Usually from November to the 1st of April, I'm strictly daytime fishing then. Fish with a wide variety of baits, but I've got 3 that I really would rather fish than anything. I like a tail spinner real well. Have a lot of success on a tail spinner. My personal biggest fish has been on a tail spinner. I also like a small swim bait. And I do like to throw the floating fly once the water temperature gets right. I'd rather catch a fish on the floating fly as to breathe. There's nothing, no more fun to me than fishing that bobber. Caught a lot of big fish on it and caught several good ones this year already on it. From April through May, I guide for walleye at night. I do not smallmouth fish during the spawn. That's one time of year I do not smallmouth fish for. Now at the end of May, the 1st of June, I will offer some smallmouth walleye trip. I had pretty good success doing that in the past. And then from June till 1st of November, if you're in my boat, you're going to be throwing a hair jig, and we catch a lot of fish on it. I furnish all my equipment. All my rods are rods that I have built. I found out many years ago the only rod I could get that I wanted was to build it myself. I use St. Croix blanks, and I've had really good luck with them. And my clients seem to enjoy fishing a homemade rod. Like I said, I throw a hair jig during the summertime. I do offer full day trips or full night trips or half. My fees for a half day or a half night is $250. For a full day or a full night for first time clients is $350. Repeat business, which is about 70% of my business now, I charge only $300 for a full trip.
Okay. What happens when the weather gets bad? I mean,
Well, I tell clients when they book a trip, Greg does not do lightning. I do not do lightning at all. I've had to run from storms before, and if it's like 70% chance of lightning that day, I'll call and tell them. You know, I look at the forecast and I'll tell them, listen, it's not going to be a good day to fish. You've got an option to either come and we'll run from the storms all day, or we can rebook. The same thing with heavy wind. I rescheduled one this past Monday because of the possibility of heavy wind. I called him. I said, have you looked at the forecast? And he said, I did. And I've been wondering what to do. And I said, well, you've got a choice. You can either show up and we go and fight it, or we reschedule. He said, I don't want to be miserable. And I said, well, that's fine. We won't. So I try to make the client make the call on the weather. But if it's lightning, Greg's not going to be out in it.
Well, you know, I bet the what people are prepared for varies greatly too. I mean, if you're not dressed, if you don't normally fish in bad weather, you might not have what you need to stay comfortable. That's for sure.
Exactly. I don't know. I've not had a lot of problem with people not being dressed. On occasion, clients not have enough rain gear or something, and I carry extra in the boat. I don't expect them to freeze to death, but I've had some clients before get pretty cold, and you get to looking at them and they're shaking. You ask them if you had enough, and they say, "Yeah." You bring them on in.
Well, good deal. You got any last comments, and then we'll move on to Denton.
No, I don't think I've missed anything other than I fish out of a 20-foot javelin that I bought brand new in '99.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've taken care of it, and so far I don't plan to replace it. I have replaced the motor on it. I run a Honda on the back of it, so I've had real good luck with it.
I know that they've done a lot of improvements over there at Horse Creek. With the
Oh
new-
golly, it's totally different over there now. It's a totally different new place, and they're actually redoing some of the docks now. The parking lot's full of new docks to be put in.
Well, that's good. It needed
Yeah.
it. All right, Denton. Now you're kicking bass, right?
Yep.
So tell us about your deal.
Well, I just far as the trips go, it's I do 3 different kinds. I do a 4-iron, a 6-iron, an 8-iron. It's 200 for 4, 250 for 6, and 300 for 8. And boat wise, I fish out of a 20-foot Stratus with a 225 show, and I furnish everything. If it be a spinning rod or a bait caster, I've got left-handed, right-handed. It don't matter. Just either one they want to throw.
What kind of fish do you target?
I just bass fish all the time. I do walleye fish occasionally, but now I don't guide for walleye. I just go out and catch me a few whenever I'm needing to catch a few to eat or something, but that's about it.
Those walleye are supposed to be pretty good to eat.
Usually the only time I walleye fish is in June and July and jigging spoons off a ledge at night. I just like to catch them like that. I mean, I know you can catch them on jerkbait in spring, just anybody where you want to stop. But
Well,
I
it's
just
not
think
that easy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'll second that.
If it was that easy, they wouldn't need you guys.
hey, all my cousins are walleye fishermen. If I need to know anything, I just call one of them. I mean, they go every night. So, I mean, I do go with them occasionally. Like when he's talking about the spawn, a lot of times if I ain't fishing a lot in spawn at night, I got to do something. I can't just sit around. So I'll load up and go with them, catch some walleye. But mainly I just fish the largemouth and smallmouth. I just stay right on course. I just like to do one thing at a time.
Well, you know, we've been here for quite a few years now, and the walleye all run up the East Fork here. And damn if I can't figure them out. Seems to
You
me.
need to put a stoplight up there. Put a stoplight up there and have them stop there in front of the dock and go up there and pick you one up.
No, I think I caught 5 last year. That'd be a record for me. Caught a few of them right off the dock, but it's not that easy. All they want to do is make babies. They don't want to bite nothing.
Yeah, they got something else on their mind then.
Yeah. So they say you get up there and you can wade through and throw them on the shore, but that's not legal. So
No, they'll put you in jail for that.
yeah. So, but you can look at them, but they're hard to catch.
Right. I like night fish too, but now I start night fishing usually in like he was talking about sometime in April. And I think last year I fished 106 or 110 nights straight.
Wow.
But I usually fish about 200 something days a year, or 200 something times a year, night time and day. Usually about 220 is about what I fish.
You know, I don't think I've said this yet, but we always joke that if you love fishing, don't buy a marina.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll
Denny,
second that.
nobody told you that, did they, Denny?
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
But I'll second that. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And I fish out of Willow Grove. My boats, I leave it on lift down there from March especially all the way through night fishing to about usually the end of August, September. Then I'll bring it out and put it home in the garage because I don't want to leave it out in the cold weather. But bait choice and all that, I like to throw a jig. I'm a big jig man, so if I'm smallmouth fishing, I'm throwing a jig or a big spinner bait at night. In the daytime, of course, it just varies. That top water, swim bait. You know, you can still catch them on an old-timey float like we caught them on when we was a kid. It just depends on what the fish are doing, what the water temperature is. And, of course, largemouth, they're a little different. I mean, a lot of them's going to be up in the bushes then. Some's on bed, some's coming on bed. You can catch them ones out front on a spinner bait, or you can drag a smaller jig around, a little football jig, and catch them coming up on bed. And then you can actually move up in the river most of the time. And the spawning, especially up on your end where you're at, it happens a little earlier than what it does down the lake. So you can go up there and catch fish flipping when you can't catch them, like down in the main part of the lake. You know, it's just like a wave. The fish just work their way down as the water temperature gets right.
Well, I know that we see where the springtime is, the fishing gets hot here first, but then come summer, it's not the place to fish all summer. The water's right.
Yeah, I think last year I got on a school of fish up there not too far from you. I think I caught 86 fish the 2 days I was up there.
Wow.
And it was a lot. I mean, small fish. We had a few good fish, but it was a lot of like 2-pound fish. But there was a lot of them coming up, and they just scooped up. You could catch them just everywhere. Of course, that don't happen all the time. This year it'll be different, but usually I fish from Eastport to Sunset a lot in the wintertime. Fished them drop-offs out there in the river and had a lot of good success catching largemouth up through there in the wintertime. And usually down the lake, if I fish out in that clear water, I'll jig a spoon or use a Demiki rig on most of them because it just simplifies a whole lot for me. But there are just a lot of different ways you can catch them. I mean, just depends on what's the best way for you to catch them is. It's hard to fish another man's game if he tells you to catch him on a jig and you don't really like to throw a jig, then you might want to throw a swim bait. So you got to be a little versatile when it comes to fishing.
We have people that will call up and say, "Is the water muddy?" And we'll say, "Yeah." And they go, "I'll be right down." And next phone call, somebody say, "Is the water muddy?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh man, I wanted to fish." So, you know, you have people that have learned to fish the stained water and not.
Right.
And that's
the dirty water can be an advantage to any fisherman. And these boys on here hears me, they know what I'm talking about. I mean, when you're fishing dirty water, you're fishing, you can fish a lot shallower without, you know, your fish will pull up in stuff that they might not pull up on out there in that clear water. I mean, that means you can, instead of fishing 18 to 20 foot, you can fish 5 to 6 foot. You know, it changes the whole game, especially when the water gets up around 50, 52 degrees. Them fish are going to pull up on the bank somewhere. I mean, by the time into February comes, these fish are going to be looking for a way up.
Yeah. So the three of you guys, if you could pick the best day of the entire year, just one date where normally the fishing's the best, what would it be?
I would pick a nighttime, and it would be under the June moon. When the June moon's full, if it's calm, I'll take the June moon at night anytime.
All right. JB, how about you?
I like night fishing in June also.
Hey, babe, you be quiet now.
Well, I'm gonna have to chime in with them.
In June, those largemouth and the smallmouth, they're going to relate to that grass, and they're not going to be on that deep grass. They're going to be on that grass that's 10, 12, 15 foot deep. And you can take a 10-inch worm and just catch one right after the other in June.
Well,
I'm going
I hear how easy it is, but you guys need to take me fishing because I've never seen it one after another.
I'm going fishing JB.
I've seen it that way.
I bet you have. What about you, Greg? What's the best time?
Well, they're both reading my mind. I've been fishing the lake since 1979, and for the last 30 years, I always make sure that I'm able to be there 12 to 14 days a week prior to the full moon in June and a week after the full moon. That time of year is just, the bite is just so consistent, and the numbers are unbelievable during that time of the year. So they both are just like I am. There's no better time to fish that lake than June.
So Denny, you've been on this lake, boy, at least 10 years, right now?
Yeah, I've been here 10 years. As a marina owner, I started fishing down here in the 60s as a kid. So, I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, they're right. That June is awesome. I like the winter fishing a lot better because that's when I get time to fish.
Exactly. June's not your best month.
June's not my best time to fish. I have to get up in the mornings, but
I hear you. So now you're big on crappie fishing though, right?
yeah, I do fish a lot of crappie and a lot of walleye. I kind of like to eat fish, and I don't kill bass, so I kind of target the walleye and the crappie.
Well, hey, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story because I think it's funny. We have these people that come down here and want to fish, and there's a couple local guys that do really well. And in the springtime for smallmouth, a live shiner works really well. And they'll throw them on these, up the river, be either one, East Fork or the West Fork. But they had this guy show up, and his name is Ron. He's from Michigan. They call him Michigan Ron. And he can't see very well. So it was foggy that morning, so he missed his appointment to fish with these guys. Shows up that afternoon, and they head out. And they tell him, like, look, you take this shiner, number 2 hook, just a split shot up a couple feet, and you just throw it up against these rock walls. And there's smallmouth there, and they'll, you'll catch a fish. He goes, I don't want to use live bait. And they're like, well, look, you came here so we could show you how to catch fish. And that's how we catch fish in the springtime. He goes, nah, I don't want to use live bait. They go, well, what are you going to use? And he goes, he had a black hair jig, and he dipped the tail of it in chartreuse, right? And they go, well, at least throw it up against that rock wall right there. He goes, I don't want to throw it up against the rock wall. And they're like, you come down here and you ask us how to do this, and we have a really good record of catching fish, but you don't want to do anything that we tell you to do. So he throws it in the middle of the channel, and he catches about a 9-pound smallmouth. Now, the biggest one that we've seen down on this end, I mean, it was a big fish. So even a half-blind guy from Michigan can come down, not follow any directions whatsoever, throw something in the middle of the river, and still get lucky once in a while. So I guess the rules don't apply all the time, do they?
No.
Look,
No.
I'd rather be lucky as good anytime.
There you go, Jay, babe.
But that picture's been on all my advertising ever since.
yeah, I've seen it.
He caught it just a mile up the West Fork here, and he let it go. But it was a beautiful fish, that's for sure. So I know we went probably a long time getting everybody on, but I mean, I had fun tonight. Hopefully this will help you guys out, and I'd like to see a lot more podcasts about fishing. I know we've got tournaments coming up, especially in April. There's going to be a crappie tournament that Denny's got set up. We're going to have a kayak tournament in April, of course, and the normal ones that we normally have in April out of Star Point or Sunset.
We got a kayak tournament this month.
Yep. Probably going to see a lot more kayaks than we have in the past. But we'll, I really appreciate you guys helping us with the Fish Del Hollow Facebook page. I know that thing has just grown. I bet I add 100 people a month now that want to be on there. And I appreciate you guys helping out people when they ask questions. And hopefully it's helped your business a little bit.
Well, I'm looking forward to a good year this year. And so it looks like it's going to be a good year. I've renewed my Coast Guard license this year and got my Tennessee guide license, and I got a new boat, and I'm ready to go.
Well, you got everything, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that new boat's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Or I think it is anyway.
Well, does anybody have any last comments or?
If y'all want, before we go, you want to just tell people where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you?
You can call me at 931-864-3963. That's my home phone, and my cell phone is 931-397-0367. Or you can reach me on the internet. You can look up bass guides at Dale Hollow Lake, and my name comes up there. And I'd appreciate the business.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, JB.
Thank you.
Hey guys, before you get out, you three guys, if y'all would get some information to the either Cedar Hill or Dale Hollow Marina, I would appreciate it. We get so many calls, and I've only got one or two guys down there, and most of the time they're booked up. So we have a tremendous opportunity to spread it around if we can.
I'll bring you some cards.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Greg, you want to tell them where they can find you?
Sure, they can find me on Facebook. I have a Dusk to Dawn guide service page on Facebook, and my cell phone number is 270-647-0290.
Denton, you want to tell them how to get a hold of you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they can call me at 931-239-9337 or Kicking Bass Guide Service on DHL@outlook.com. And I just I thank everyone for being on here. Thank for having this opportunity. And being a guide is a special thing. All these boys know what I'm talking about. Like JB said earlier, you get to meet a lot of good people, and a lot of them get to see them catch their fish for the first time. I mean, I was raised here. I was raised in Ashman Creek. I've been on this lake all my life. And
There's nothing better than seeing a kid holding that big fish up.
that's it.
And you can hook them for life as far as being a lake customer or coming to Dale Hollow. That's for sure.
That's it.
There's nothing like seeing anybody hold their first smallmouth up.
Well, I know, but I've had a couple. You guys have to go to the Eastport Marina's TikTok page, and I have a TikTok where I bet I caught 30, 40 fish off the dock last year. Of course, we feed them at the dock too, and that's cheating a little bit, but a guy like me needs all the help he can get.
We all do.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, if anybody doesn't or nobody has any last minute comments, I appreciate it.
Or thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Dale Hollow Lake Podcast, All Things Fishing Edition. Be sure you check the description to book your Dale Hollow Lake fishing guide. Also, hit that subscribe button and check back next Thursday for a brand new episode.